final presentation. That's scary. I'm going to get a beer at this point, so I'll try and it's quick. Yeah, my name is Bryan. I work for a company called C2FO, which is actually a financial company. But they are really cool. They let me do all this stuff on my own time outside of work. So, living the dream. And actually, my training is meteorology, so I like doing weather stuff outside of work. And so, a couple years back, I gave a presentation of an application I'm writing in HTML5, and found that performance was kind of lax. So I started looking at other ways to speed it up, which led me to this. So what is Emscripten? It's basically a bridge between C and JavaScript. So yeah, for you strongly typed language people. Yeah, I thought there would be a bunch of hands going up on that. So yeah, it's LLVM is really popular right now with like Apple and Linux, and so it'll take the code generated by LLVM, and specifically as you see your bit code, and run some magic on there and spit out ASM.js formatted JavaScript, which for those who don't know, ASM.js is a subset of JavaScript, and depending on the browser, it can be like insanely fast. But the browser doesn't have to be, because it'll work in Node, it'll work in Chrome, it'll work in Firefox, it doesn't really matter. So how do you use it? Well, go to a link or, Google. Just Google it and it'll be that top link it gives you back. You can download an SDK, and it provides a nice tool chain that you can interact with C, C++ code. And for those of you who don't use Brew on OS X, who like to get in there and run a configure script and make, there is similar applications provided by the Emscripten stuff that replace that and allow you to go ahead and output JavaScript instead. Or if you have like a Hello World application that you're just dying to see in JavaScript, you can go ahead and run EMCC, which is just a simple compiler. So specifically, what is my use case? As I said before, I have this HTML5 weather application, and one of the things that we weather people love to do is contour. We like seeing lines of constant data on maps. It's a big deal for us. So, wrote this library way back when that was actually a port of a Pascal library from a 1982 weather journal I found. Converted it to C. When I found the performance wasn't that good, decided to compile it back to JavaScript. So, yeah. Boom. Little Inception sound there for you. And this was going to be like my initial test. This was going to decide whether this was something for me or whether I was going to crap can it. So was it worth going to all this trouble? Well, again, weather people, we love to. If you've ever worked a weather program, if you can give us data, we'll take it. We're whores for data. It's really bad. So my example use case was a grid that was 614 by 428, which is a good sized weather grid. And I mean, I'll go through this, but the numbers speak for themselves. My original JavaScript code, which I was really proud of, I'm one of those jerks that when you work with is like, we should use this library. I'm like, libraries? I'm going to write my crap from scratch because, well, I know how to do it better than everybody else. So, yeah, I'm one of those a-holes. But yeah, my original code I thought was not bad. Chrome, of course, 130 milliseconds looked good. Firefox, 160 milliseconds. This was definitely livable, but I wanted to see better performance. In comparison, the native C was 26 milliseconds. You're never going to, bare metal, you're never going to see that, but it is what it is. But yeah, so the Chrome version of, the Chrome numbers for the Emscripten compiled stuff was great. 88 milliseconds per grid. I was ecstatic about that. And then I ran it in Firefox. And for those of you who know Firefox, it's got this JavaScript engine called Odin Monkey, and it's awesome. I had to run this 5 times because I was like totally blown away that I was that close to native code performance. So, yeah, it was really exciting stuff. And the nice thing about doing it this way is that the code is cross-platform. What I mean by that is This C library is not just going to be from a JavaScript application. Let's say that I want to write that iOS application that's really going to be, you know, the big moneymaker for me, that I don't have to ever work again and get a yacht in Nebraska. So yeah, that was one of my goals with this. And the other thing is, I'm going to be one of those masochists, and I'm going to try and write some OpenGL. Specifically OpenGL, because we all know WebGL is based on OpenGL. So somebody has actually written a module for Emscripten that will take that code and spit out WebGL. And I've seen it, it works incredibly well. But of course, it's not all sunshine and lollipops. If you look at other browsers, you're kind of screwed. So this is not incorrect. Safari, my original library, was a little less than 200 milliseconds, but the Emscripten per grid jumped up to nearly a full second per contour. Ouch. Then you look at IE, and well, IE is IE. But I did do a little testing briefly before my laptop kind of pooped out, and IE 11 is looking much better, which Nick Nisi actually kind of got all excited about. I was surprised. He's a big IE 11 supporter, talking about sometime. But, so yeah, even IE is coming along. It's getting much better. Actually, in one of my tests, it was faster than Chrome, believe it or not. So I about threw the laptop out on that one because I didn't believe it. The other gotcha was that not all C calls are optimized for JavaScript. I am, for you GIS people, I am porting proj 4j to Emscript, and that's my current thing I'm working on right now. And it does a lot of hypotenuse calls. I didn't even know math.h had a hypotenuse function until a couple weeks ago. And in the JavaScript code generated, it was math.square root. I'm not going to bother you or bore you with it. It was so poorly optimized that I actually opened a ticket with the Emscripten guys, and they're going to fix it. And then editing and debugging, very scary. If you've ever written ASM.js by hand, it is truly a subset. Plus, you got, just look it up. It's almost worth the whole talk on its own. It's scary. And the debuggers in Chrome and Firefox were not, I don't know how to put it. They were not friendly with it either. It didn't go deep enough. I found some function calls that were like causing some performance problems that I was able to fix, but they never showed